Welcome, beautiful buddies, saint-germain family. With the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League ahead of us, I thought to myself to make my full predictions from the quarterfinal until the winner of every single competition. Starting off with the Conference League, you have Real Betis against, Legia Warszawa against Chelsea, Djurgården against Rapid Vienna, and Fiorentina against I don't know who. I think Real Betis will comfortably go through here. They've beaten Vitor Guemera, something like that, convincingly 6-2. They've been good in La Liga. Obviously, Isco, Anthony balling for them this season. And they're facing, as I said, this team I don't know that much about, but they beat another team I don't know that much about, 3-2. So I'm going to have Real Betis here in the first semi-final on the left side. Fiorentina versus, someone. I'm going to give it to Fiorentina, obviously. They've been very good in the Conference League recently. I remember they reached the final against West Ham, obviously lost it. So I'm going to take a Fiorentina Real Betis quarterfinal here on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we have Djurgården and Rapid Vienna versus Chelsea and Legia Warszawa. Rapid Vienna have not gone through that convincingly. Djurgården slightly more convincingly. Because of some personal bias, I'm obviously an AIK is the rival team of Djurgården. So I'm going to pick Rapid Vienna to go through here. Chelsea, Legia Warszawa. Shout out to Legia Warszawa, but Chelsea going through to the semi-final. So we got a Chelsea, Rapid Vienna semi-final on the right side, and Real Betis versus Fiorentina on the left-hand side. You know what? It's a Real Betis year. It's a Real Betis year. I think the Anthony signing has made such a huge impact for them. So I'm going to pick Real Betis to advance to the final. Chelsea obviously from the right-hand side. And you have a Real Betis-Chelsea Conference League final. But I think Real Betis' romantic story ends there. And Chelsea are Conference League winners. They've obviously won the Champions League, won the Europa League. And obviously, I think they would become the first team. I think there have been maybe 1 to 2 players that have won every single tournament. But I think Chelsea will become the first team to ever win the Champions League, Europa League, and the Conference League. Moving on to the Europa League, we have Tottenham Hotspur versus Frankfurt in the quarterfinal, Lazio versus Glimt, Rangers versus Atletico Bilbao, and Olympique de Lyon versus Manchester United. Spurs Frankfurt, that looks like a very interesting tie. Both teams not the best defensively, great offensively though. Frankfurt had the hammering of Ajax in the previous round as well. Spurs, I think they lost 2-0 to Azat Alkmaar and they had to make a 3-0 comeback. You know what? Just because Spurs are doing so bad in the league, I'm going to pick Spurs to edge it because I think this tournament means a lot for them. And, they could potentially see themselves for Fugazi a Champions League spot from this. We have Lazio versus Glimt. Glimt have surprisingly been very good. Lazio, I think they topped the Europa League table as well. Don't know that much about both teams, but I'm going to pick Lazio versus Spurs in my first semi-final. Second one, Rangers, Atletico Bilbao. Obviously, one huge thing we have to mention for Bilbao is the final of the Europa League will be played at the Bilbao home stadium. I'm picking Bilbao to beat Rangers in the first semi-final. Olympique Lyon versus Manchester United. Extremely, extremely tasty tie. I got to pick Olympique de Lyon, Turkey, to go through to the semi-final. We got Spurs versus Lazio. Honestly, I think Lazio will be a bit too strong for Spurs. I'm picking Lazio to make the Europa League final versus Lyon or Bilbao. I'm going to pick Atletico Bilbao. Lyon can definitely do. I think it's going to be a very tight game. But I'm going to pick Atletico Bilbao versus Lazio in the Europa League final. Bilbao got to take it. Nico Williams, Inaka Williams, the William brothers from Atletico Bilbao to be Europa League champions over Lazio in the final. And lastly but not least, the Champions League prediction, obviously the most exciting one. Real Madrid versus Arsenal. Gotta pick Real Madrid. Come on. But I think Arsenal could go through. I think it would be somewhat tight. Every single Madrid game is tight. They've never blown out an opponent like that. I just can't see Arsenal beat Madrid like that. Madrid in the first semi-final. PSG Villa. Shout out to Villa for making it here. Historical season for you guys. Wait, it's ending here. Paris Saint-Germain to advance to the semi-final versus Real Madrid. You got FC Barcelona versus Dortmund. Shout out to Dortmund, but yeah, FC Barcelona going through. Bayern Inter. I guess with the injuries, I gotta give it to Inter. It would be really surprising if Bayern went through. So a Bayern München semi-final versus FC Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain Real Madrid. We also have to mention Bayern München will be playing. The final will be played at the Allianz Arena, Bayern's home stadium. PSG Madrid, Mbappe homecoming. Paris Saint-Germain firing on all cylinders. Paris Saint-Germain. Come on. But honestly, we've faced Madrid twice in the knockout stages. They've knocked us out both times. Both times, you know, we performed better than Madrid. We played really great, but we just don't take our moments. Madrid take their moments with obviously some favoring from the referee as always. So yeah, this would be a huge test for Paris Saint-Germain. I think if we say Barca make the final of the Champions League, I think beating Madrid is tougher than beating Barca, despite that being a semi-final and that being a Champions League final. Obviously, it's the Champions League. Madrid are a way tougher team to beat than FC Barcelona. So I think it would be a really, really tough test for Paris Saint-Germain. Not even performance-wise, just mentality, holding it together, despite the memories coming back. Obviously, Marquinhos and Donnarumma are the only players that could get some potential past memories. Nuno and Hakimi as well, I think. Yeah. But yeah, gonna pick Paris Saint-Germain to make the Champions League final. FC Barcelona versus Inter Milan. It's not that good of a matchup for Barca stylistically. Inter play in a way that would not suit how Barca want to play. Barca want to make the game open, play a lot of counterattacks, high press. Inter very good on the ball, can also play counterattack football, but they obviously are more conservative and defensive. It would be a bottle job, in my opinion, if Barca do not make this Champions League final with the draw they've had, with how they performed in the Champions League group stage. So I got to pick a Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain Champions League final. And obviously, the answer is simple. Paris Saint-Germain to win their first Champions League in their entire history on FC Barcelona's head. Well, that's been it for my Conference League, Europa League, and Champions League prediction. Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think will win the Conference League, Europa League, and the UEFA Champions League? That's been it for my boy PSG. And as usual, allez Paris.